Let's come for him, Matt. Hello, sir. They're doing a good job. I know, I get him to for a chat here. Did that, how they did that?
Which?
Your men, you have a specially employed, have a chap specially employed?
No.
What are they doing?
I don't know.
Huh?
I have no clue. I mean, we never organised them anyway.
Didn't organise, but should they do a good job anyway, like?
Yeah. Well, I mean...
Well, how much do they charge for that kind of a job now?
Well, I won't be paying for it in here.
But I'd say you'll have to, like...
Oh, no, bleeding way.
Huh?
No way, because we never...
It's probably costing the region of about 50 quid. Are they going to take it down the same tour? You're quite desperate, you are the Norman to come here to do that.
Signs coming down.
You know where the water is? You can check Frawley.
Are you quite desperate? Hello?
Yeah.
1 minute.
Down Pier Street. That's not on yet, is it?
Well, do you want to do something while we go?
Wait 1 second, I need the picture now.
We're now leaving the Anchor Bar in Main Street after our interesting little interlude in the Tidy Up Kinsale campaign, and approaching the Bank of Ireland on our left, which is a relatively new building. The Bank of Ireland moved into Kinsale about 8 years ago, 1972. On our left-hand side, we're now coming into Emmett Place, and at the top of the street we see some very fine examples of Georgian building. The post office to the left-hand side has the slated front, which is peculiar to Old Kinsale. There are many buildings of this type in the area, again with the large Georgian windows. It's said that several fishing villages in the Cornish coast of England and also along the north coast of France have a similar type of architectural resemblances to some of the buildings here in Kinsale. On our left we have a fine 19th century building here in Barry's Place on the left hand corner, which is now Boland's news agency store. Tony Boland and his wife Colette run a flourishing business, and they have recently opened a craft shop in which you can find some very fine examples of homemade Irish crafts. We're now entering Pearse Street, which formerly used to be known as the Long Quay Kinsale. This part of the town was actually underwater, and the street that we're now driving on is reclaimed land. On the left-hand side you will see the Atlantic Yacht Company, which operates a chandlery business catering for visiting yachtsmen during the summer months. And next, on the left after that, you'll see the premises of Robert Acton, one of the oldest families in Kinsale, whose name is featured on many buildings in the town, including that, of course, of Acton's Hotel, which is one of the largest hotels now owned and operated by Trusthouses Forte. Further along Pearse Street, on the right-hand side, the premises of Allied Irish Banks.
Yeah.
The banks play a very important role in the life of modern Kinsale, and the management and indeed the staffers of both banks have been very much involved with all of the community in promoting Kinsale as a modern town that now is. Right. Next to 9 on the right hand side is Blue Haven Hotel and Seafood Restaurant, owned and operated by Brian and Ann Cronin. This is a small hotel accommodating 20 to 30 people, and like many of the small restaurants in the town, is run in a very personal style and caters for both locals and tourists alike. On the left hand side we have the Lobster Pot, it's a small, cosy local pub run by Mick and Ann O'Connell, who've been running the Lobster Pot now for the last 2 years, and have settled very well into the pub life in the town. Further back on the left hand side is a very famous little shop with the name Maisie's over the door. Maisie unfortunately is no longer with us. She died about 2 years ago. But it's one of the shops in the town which is frequented very much by local people and visitors alike, and never seems to be closed. It's open early in the morning until quite late at night. It's a favourite meeting place for many people. Further along on the left, next door to me, is the Blue Shark pub. Run by Frawley, the pub has a very small frontage, but must in fact be one of the largest pubs in Kinsale, offering night entertainment 7 nights a week. front of us we see the Cotter's Oyster Inn, which used to be at one time known as Murphy's Hotel. Changed hands in 1976 and is now operated by Joe Cotter and his wife Mary. Joe is a well-known personality in the town, is a member of the Urban District Council and has many other interests apart from running the Oyster Inn. Next door to the Oyster Inn is Jimmy and Edna Collins' White House. Here is a pub which must be one of the oldest pubs in the town. It was operated by Edna's father, Mr. Hippie Murphy, who must be one of the best-known characters in Kinsale. Mr. Murphy pulled pints in the town before anybody in living memory, and tells the story that between the years 1919 and 1939, the price of a pint didn't go up 1 penny, and when it did go up a penny in 1939, it caused more of a sensation in Kinsale than the outbreak of the Second World War. Jimmy and Etna now run a thriving business and operate a very successful steak bar at night time. We're now entering the Glen, which has many small businesses, such as on your right, the Hole in the Wall pub. Mrs. Dermot McCarthy. The Hole in the Wall is a beautifully laid out pub, very popular again with both locals and visitors, and provides pub grub of the highest standard, particularly at lunchtime. We're now passing the Harp and Shamrock Bar. You see the name curling over the door. Operated by Mrs. Frawley, Frawley family, and very much a locals pub. Here we come to Robert Acton's Timber Yard, which is a very provides a very essential service to many of the builders operating in Kinsale. Fire station is next on our left. The fire station in Kinsale provides a very valuable service. The brigade must be one of the fastest off the mark, certainly in this country, in that from the time the alarm goes off to the time the brigade actually leaves the fire station, usually takes about 2.5 to 3 minutes. The brigade leaves the station as soon as 2 firemen have turned up, and the others follow in cars to the scene of the fire. We're now passing. We're now passing John Joe Hurley here on our right, who's the man that keeps the Guinness flowing in Kinsale, and his young son who helps him to keep the barrels rolling. We return here now, once again, to the White House, which we understand is about to be repainted once again.
It's one in back.
Yeah. How about double parking over here?
Yeah, okay.
We want to keep the attention off us now. How can that be done?
say. Hello, with the depth of it.
What are you doing this train? The administration, isn't it?
And now we've instructions to paint your What are they? Painted blue and yellow. Or black and amber. Black and amber. We're paid now for the side on my.
When I take you, Alfie, you're as welcome as the flowers of here. But I can assure you, fuck off over here. That is your haircut, you are. Hey, mister, I can assure you this.
Tom, you're live on RTE now, you know.
Yeah. When they can fuck off over there, here's how they put it. Up there, and all the boys up there, I was a critic. I was a critic at RTE. You know, and I can every week I used to give away, tell me what I think of them. There are more donkeys up there. We should stay more at home to natives. We were when Cork City was a slum, and definitely driving a big car from Galway. Are you familiar? Familiar, you are?
Yeah. On the road to Galway.
Geez, you came down like a goat and you got a good bite of grass to me. Christ, you're as handsome as ever. God bless you.
Once again, I'll tell you about when we'll be back, so.
Go golfing with you.
And I can show you the tough guys from the moon that came back. My fellas. The fellas who fought for Ireland and never got a bob out of it. But they were robbed with a government today. The bastard, they should be bombed.
Good luck.
God bless you.
I want to give a comment to that again, Brian.
And now standing on the corner of Pier Street, see two well-known characters, Mr. Michael Austin, and next to him is Charles the Chippy. Charles McCarthy, one of our well-known carpenters. Bronze and suntan. And here again now on Pier Street, we see to the right the large grain store and mills of Henry Wood Limited, a very well-known Kinsale family who operate many businesses in the town. On the left-hand side, we're now approaching Perryville House Hotel. Recently opened under management and ownership of Costello family. Jordan building. Unusual balcony structure in front. And here on the side of the building you'll see the bakery, which operates independently of the hotel. We're now entering the section of the Long Quay which runs along by the Scilly Dam.
broken trees.
A particularly beautiful part of the town at full tide. Not quite as attractive, unfortunately, at low tide, because of the large amount of silting that has taken place here over the years. At present, a survey is being carried out to establish the cost of cleaning out the city dam, which, if it could be done, would add enormously to the scenic value of this area here.
Trees.
Over on the far side, behind the trees, we see to the right the Spaniard pub, which must be one of the best known pubs in Ireland.
Broken trees.
Right in front of us, here on the Long Quay, we see the remains of
broken trees.
Of some young trees which were planted here by the local Tidy Towns Committee approximately 12 months ago. One lone surviving tree now remains out of the original 24 or so that were planted. The rest fell victims to vandals, hooligans, who destroyed the efforts of people to improve the appearance of the Long Quay. It's a very sad reflection on some people's attitudes nowadays, but no doubt the people of the town will make yet another effort to make this part of the town green again. Here we've now entered the Scilly area, which actually is outside of the urban district area of Kinsale. City people are city people and are very proud of their little part of the town here. We're looking at the Man Friday restaurant, which was one of the first restaurants to establish itself in Kinsale. Run very successfully over the years by Peter Barry, and now operated very successfully indeed by Philip Morgan and his wife. We're heading down towards the water now, and once we round this bend, we'll see on our left-hand side the little harbour bar operated by Stanley Platt and his son Timothy. The harbour bar is a place that has been known over the years to visitors to Kinsale, operated by the one and only Doris, who unfortunately is no longer with us, and acquired by Stanley and Tim some 4 years ago. Stanley did a beautiful renovation job on the pub and is now one of the favourite meeting places here. Stanley, in fact, appearing to take his bow. Mr. Stanley Platt, who is in the ranks of the wounded at the moment. He had an unfortunate accident there some time ago. He's now recovering very well. There's the famous hand. Thanks, Stanley. Explain later.
Goodbye.
We're now passing the Spinnaker restaurant, which, with Man Friday, is one of the earliest Kinsale restaurants of modern times, anyway. Has just changed hands once again. It used to be operated by Mrs. Haley McNeese over the years, and very recently by Tom Fox and his wife Helen. Has now been purchased by a well-known local character, Mr. Dermot Conway, and his wife Myrtle, and they'll be moving in there within a few weeks, we believe. I'd like to wish them all the best of luck. We're looking across Kinsale Harbour to Castle Park and the new 3-hole golf course, which was opened very recently. We're now looking across Kinsale Harbour to the new yacht marina, which is now just 1 year old. The yacht marina has been a great boon to Kinsale. It's got approximately 90 berths, all of which were purchased before the marina was in fact completed. Mostly by members of Kinsale Yacht Club, but it's a private company has been set up to operate the marina. And I gather that it has been such a successful project, in fact, that they're now considering extending the number of berths in the near future. Once again, from a different direction, the famous Spaniard pub, which some time ago was sold by the owner, Roger Parrott, who developed the pub on very similar lines to the famous Dirty Nellies in Bunratty. It's an extremely popular pub, particularly in fine weather.
Hey, boss!
And here are two local characters now coming from the pub. Jack, who must be one of the most famous characters in Silly.
Oh, yeah.
And how's the fishing been recently?
It's been very, well, it's been very bad at the moment.
Very bad.
Yeah,
I gather that the
if the weather gets warmer, it's going to improve.
Yeah.
I guarantee that.
That's the salmon fishing you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fine. And behind there, in centre camera, is Mr. Barry Bustede, who with his brother Dick operate the Spaniard pub.
And how's Mr. Frawley getting on?
Thank you very much. Very good, Mr. Murphy.
And Jack Murphy.
Would you like a documentary on the salmon fishing, would you?
Explain later.
Okay, I was trying to get Lucy out. I'm on now.
We're now on the high road leading to Ardbrack, just having passed through Silly, and we're looking at what must be you good? What's his turn? You're not on, are you?
I am, yes.
And now here's a local character whose face is known to all Kinsalers. Coming over with Michael Frawley to say hello.
That's Lucy. Jack Lucy, sorry.
And Jack Lucy. Hello, Jack.
Hello, gentlemen.
We're doing a little film here of Kinsale at the moment, Jack.
Oh, yes.
And I was just about to say that the houses here behind you must have the best view.
God, we have
really,
a good view. We have, right, very good.
Of any scheme in Ireland.
There's a good view we are, all right.
Lovely view.
How's the salmon fishing? That I don't know, Mick. I know that. I know what about. Yeah, I too. Right. Did you do a Harriet? I'm going down them now. We'll go in.
Oh, yes. There's this lovely shot now. We're now looking down into the harbour from Ardbrack, and below us we can see a lone boatsman coming in after a day's fishing, heading towards the new marina, which you'll see there in the background. And now as the camera moves to the left, you'll see first of all the pier head, and the little blue harbour master's office. And on to the left of that is the Trident Hotel, which operates, of course, the Trident Angling Centre with half a dozen seagoing game fishing boats. Further to the left is the little suburb, if you like, of Kinsale called World's End. Like many other parts of Kinsale, it has a rather unusual or quaint name. Almost a little community of its own, really. World's End, and further along in the distance you'll see the new Archbishop Duggan Bridge, which of course for many years to come will always be known in Kinsale as the new bridge. The old bridge, the old Western Bridge, was approximately 2 miles further up the Bandon River, but now people, because of the location of the new bridge, people can cross over to Castle Park, which is down to our left-hand side, obscured from view at the moment, and can get at areas like the old head of Kinsale, Garristown Beach, Harbour View, with much more ease than previously. A lot further to the left then, we're looking at the little golf course of Castle Park, which opened in May of this year, 1980. And above that we can see some of the remains of the old James's Fort, which is of great archaeological interest. A lot of the buildings, unfortunately, are now no longer there, but an awful lot of interest still remains underground, and from time to time archaeological digs are carried out by such people as University College Cork, amongst others. Further down on the left we see the blockhouse, which is a well-known landmark and a welcome sight to many a tired yachtsman coming in after a day's sailing. And in the far distance we see the outer harbour, and if this camera had a long enough lens, I dare say we'd see the coast of France away off there in the distance. Over to the left hand side of the inner harbour we see the famous ruins of Charles Fort. Charles Fort is probably our most distinguished landmark and building. It became a national monument some years ago, has now been taken over by the Board of Works, and a lot of work has been carried out in recent years to improve the condition of the buildings within the fort, which we hope to see now presently. And we hope someday that the fort will contain such things as a National Maritime Museum, craft shops, and possibly an open-air theatre, amongst other projects, various local bodies have been working on over the past few years. Charles Fort is the scene of many historical occasions in the history and life and times of Kinsale. It was very much part of the Battle of Kinsale, which took place in the year 1600-1601, and was occupied by British military force right up to 1922. From that period onwards, the fort fell into decay until the Board of Works took over the building some years back.
Would it be less now and a half?
I don't know. We'll fairly soon that'll come on today.
We'll see. It's just coming down from our track into the village of Suffolk Cove, approximately 1 mile from Kinsale to Suffolk Cove. You can come along by the lower road, Other's Edge, and then back by the high road where down to the harbour. Suffolk Cove has an almost Spanish air about it. It's very narrow little windy streets, as you can see here, with the tall Georgian buildings, I suppose. A lot of them with their slated fronts. And very much a community on its own. Locals here are very, very proud of Suffolk Cove. Here on the left is a building which was recently renovated. Sorry. And here's some of the older buildings which no doubt one of these days will be done up again. On the left here is the Bullman pub, which some people say on a fine day has the largest lounge bar of any pub in Ireland. Car park on the right.
Yeah, okay.
The Bullman pub is named after the famous Bullman boy, known to all yachtsmen negotiating the entrance to Kinsale. And coming out the pub is a well-known proprietor, Mr. Willie O'Connell, who is suffering from stage fright somewhat today.
Save me here, something like that. Frawley on off and hold you know, something like that. What'd you say? No, there's no mic there, surely.
There's no mic, I know you're fine.
Isn't there?
No.
What's that? What's this all about? Brian, what's this all about?
That's the Mike Murphy show, eh?
Oh dear.
Yeah. The amongst other things, the Bullman is one of the few pubs in the area serving 3 different craft stouts. And the interior of the pub, you can get a glimpse of there. There's Joe Rivato, one of the well-known Summercove locals.
Take a quick down this. Come in.
And you can see in the background there the old-fashioned shelves, mirrors, not to be seen in many pubs nowadays.
Joe Rivato. Tommy O'Driscoll on the left.
We're now proceeding through Summercove and heading up towards the entrance of Charles Fort. Behind us, you can see yachtsmen heading out weekly race, which takes place each Wednesday evening in the open harbour. So here right in front of us we see the flag mast, which marks the finishing line for most races days here. In front of us here now we see yachts of several different classes, in fact, heading out to sea. Some of them cruisers, some 18-footers, 20-footers, all with the same purpose in mind: to negotiate the currents and the waves and the winds for an evening's sailing. In fact, we've got a very peaceful and flat weather conditions here this evening. Not very much wind, I would think. On the right behind us, we're now looking at the area between Summercove and Scilly, much of which is yet very green and not yet developed. No doubt it will be someday. And up behind Summercove we see the silhouette of the little Church of Ireland Ring Current Church and Cemetery, situated right on top of the hill there. This area, of course, would have been one of the outposts of Charles Fort in days gone by, with its gun batteries looking down on the harbour. Here on the right, across from Charles Fort, we see the caravan site, which is a facility that was very popular during the summer months in Kinsale. Many people would like to see better facilities provided for the users of this type of amenity. You see the little toilet in front of us here is one of the few facilities, in fact, available for caravanners. We're now standing in front of Charles Fort, overlooking the outer harbour of Kinsale. Here on the left you'll see the high ramparts of this star-shaped fort. The forts were designed in such a way that any force attacking it from the land had to approach not one but 2 walls and had to face 2 lines of defenders on the walls of the fort, thus the description star-shaped fort. Right in front of us we see what was, of course, the moat, and under that grass are in fact cobblestones, which echoed to the marching feet of thousands of troops over the years here. We're now looking at the main gate of the fort, which is, at this time of the day now, it's 6:30 in the evening, is locked, of course, but during the summer is open to visitors from approximately 9 o'clock in the morning up to tea time, and guided tours of the fort are given on the hour every hour throughout the day for the benefit of visitors. We also have a guidebook with very extensive information on the different buildings within the fort. Here in front of the entrance we see what seem to be two pillars are in fact two old inverted cannons which at one time were used on the walls of the fort. Stand back in there with the lads, go on, we'll get you on film. Have you started? We're now standing in the glen of Kinsale, outside the licensed premises of W.J. O'Driscoll, which to members of Kinsale Harriers means only one thing, and that is the meeting place of the Kinsale Harriers for their regular Sunday hunts. Here we are now with the lads and the dogs, who you can see are only raring to go. We're going to have a chat now in a couple of minutes with a few members of the Harriers. Here in front of us,
Chief Whip Jackie Welsh.
Is the Chief Whip, Mr. Jackie Welsh. Come around there, Jackie, and let's have a look at you. My God, you're all dolled out for the occasion, Jackie. Could we ask you a few questions, Jackie, about the Harriers' activities? Well, it's a very old club, isn't it? It's been going.
It's a very old club, and I'm 35 years, 100 years Chief Whip for the Harriers Club in Kinsale. And I'm 35 years, and I'm very proud of that. And I will hope to see many more years of the Kinsale Harriers Club, which I expect to do so long to funny.
Well, behind us, Jackie, we've got Pa Donovan's pub.
That's right.
W.J. Driscoll's pub, which in fact is the traditional.
That's quite right. That's
meeting place of the Harriers.
That's right, quite right. Quite right. Right.
And how often do you get together here now?
Well, it's happened occasional drag hunts and many occasions. And many occasions like this. Especially you that.
I wonder.
Hold him up, man. Hold him up. Yeah.
I wonder, Jack, would you introduce some of the lads here, some of the members of the club?
I can.
Here is Sporting Callan. Good evening. How are you? We're doing a little film here on Kinsale. Yes. And we've come to meet the Kinsale Harriers. Yes, fine. Jackie tells us you're going for 35 years now.
Well, I'm going for 35 years.
30 years since we're going for 35 years.
Jack is going for 35 years.
35 years, yeah.
And we normally have as many dogs as this out on a meet now.
Oh, we have more.
We have more, yeah.
30 to 40 on a Sunday.
Right.
Would you like to tell us exactly what happens on a normal drag hunt?
Well, fox hunting we usually do.
Fox hunting. You meet in the glen here first of all.
Yes.
Would you like to go on from there?
We carry on up the lower field there and hope we get a fox there.
Yes.
And we out in for the power station and up there in the morning. So we'll swing around, come back. Excuse me, back around White Castle.
Yeah. Right.
And bring back our dogs in the evening, say around, start at 12 and we come in the evening.
Usually on a Sunday as well.
On Sunday, yeah. And we finish in the evening at 4 o'clock. Around 4 to 5.
It's hard work all the way, is it?
Oh, all shanks in there.
What happens after 4 o'clock then? You get together back here in the glen? Or?
We have some Christmas maybe after.
Christmas after that. Are there many foxes? Are there many foxes in the area?
No, they're getting very scarce with
very scarce.
Yes. Yeah. With all these big women with these fur coats or the fox skin coats are cleaning out all the foxes in us. No, they're exporting. Sorry.
Thank you very much, Mr. Callan.
Charlie, come on.
Coming over towards it's Charlie Eaton. Well-known local figure. Hello, Charlie. You're hard at it there.
Come over here, come over here, lad. Come over, don't make me try. Come over. Come on, Charlie, come on, we all need it.
Charlie, do you feed the dogs on Sunday before you go out? Do you feed them first of all? No. Are they kept without food for a day or two or what?
Oh, dear,
do you find you get much more food?
Oh, you do, yeah. You couldn't feed them before they go to that. No, but they wouldn't hunt it out in vain.
What happens actually when they track down the fox? Do they stay in bay?
Oh, they do tear the tail when they come on, yeah.
And what happens to the fox's tail then?
Oh, they all fight to the tail, then they do. Best man that wins.
Is there money involved then?
No.
No money in it?
No.
Purely for the sport. Well, it's Mr. Charlie Eaton, ladies and gentlemen. Who's with the club now? 3 years, Charlie?
Going on 3 years now. Yeah,
As active as ever, is it?
oh yes.
I say you'd knock down a share of pints on us Sunday after the old meet, would you?
Oh, sure would, yeah. Up to 6 o'clock, you got to 7 o'clock. Back out in the day.
Take for the tea then.
Yeah. Go over to Frawley's after then.
Over the Frawley's. Ben is getting quite busy now. The evening visitors to the town. We're going to get one more man on the street here. Hello there. Neil Donovan and O'Neill, how are you? That's a fine looking animal you got there.
Not as good as he look on the
What breed of dogs are most of these? Are they all beagles or
Harrier breeds, yeah.
They're Harrier beagles, are they? Yeah. Are they mainly dogs or bitches or do you have both?
Mixed up.
Mixed up. Do you find that the which respond better? Does there any
If you have a good bitch, best in that. Good bitch is best. You have to get good bitch.
And that dog now would be what age that you were looking at?
He's about going on 4 years, bitch. 4 years.
It's a bitch, sorry.
Going on 4 years.
You can see it this angle.
Going on 4 years.
4 years, yeah. And do they take much feeding, a dog like that?
No, not at this time of the year now, like when they're kind of leisurely.
What do they fed on? Do you use?
Well, we get waste from the butchers and...
Yeah.
And we get a bit of fish and boiled, you know, and he's fish and boiled it up.
Of course, Paddy Bryan is with us tonight. He's a very active member of the club.
He is, yeah. Well, he's the manager. He's the brains behind it.
So he's the quartermaster. He's in charge of the booth.
He's the brains behind it.
Is that right? Behind we've got Mr. Sonny Commons. He's got his hands full there. Fine dogs are there, Sonny.
That's the way.
Are there any dogs there now in this lot that are particularly better than the others? Have you any champion dogs? Or?
Not really, no. It's all about even.
All about even, yeah. And they work well together, do they?
No.
Can you tell us what exactly happens with the hunting horns you use there? Do each have individual horns, or are there different sounds? Or
the horn is when you put a horse in it.
Is that to rally the dogs together?
The leading man. Yeah.
The leading man?
Mostly for to pick them up in the evening.
When you pick up the scent, is it?
Yeah, no, but for to get them back in the evening.
Oh, to get the dogs back?
Yeah.
The response, I see.
Mostly.
When a fox, when you come in a fox now, does anything particular happen like this?
Not really, you just hunt them out the cover.
Is there any way you can indicate to the rest of the lads that you're onto the fox? Tally ho and general knowledge. And here's, thanks very much, Sonny Commons. Big man. Coming up the glen here is Mr. Paddy O'Brien. Hello, Paddy. Mr. Paddy Bryan was one of the oldest members of the club. Paddy, good evening, how are you?
Very good, sir.
Thanks for coming along. We're just having a chat here with some of the lads about the Harriers, Paddy.
Yeah.
Tell me something, does this activity take place more in the winter or the summer?
Mostly all winter months.
Mostly winter months.
Except in September.
I remember a famous occasion, you might recall, about 4 or 5 years ago when we met out in...
Oh, that's right, in Ballinspittle.
Ballinspittle.
That's right, yeah.
We had something like 72 English visitors who participated in a fox hunt to that day.
That's right, yeah.
Do you think there were any foxes caught then, were there?
They were very scarce that day, weren't they?
They were very scarce. They had a great day's outing.
Oh, yeah.
Ended up in the foxes club out there.
That's right, yeah.
In Ballinspittle.
Great sweet, yeah, all right.
Yeah. I believe, Paddy, you supplied some of the feeding for the dogs.
Huh?
I've never heard of dogs eating fish before, but some of the lads are telling me to eat fish bones. That's all.
We are all stuff left now, but we can get a little that stuff.
Yeah.
But like, most of we're one of the oldest packs now from the county.
Hunting dogs and goats before this tap started out here.
Yeah. I suppose, Paddy, a lot of the sharks that get caught in Kinsale end up in these dogs' tummies. Do these sharks?
No, really, they don't have to do it. But really have to study the other books, so they don't have the other ways now, the butcher shop.
Yeah.
Speak up as well. On the way, so the butcher shop, Braddock, no one check that is not the no, the yard safe.
Keep it for you.
Keep it for us. As you know, sir, we're one of the oldest clubs now in the county. We're over, I'd say...
How many members have you got, Penny?
About 50 members, sir.
50 members. Yeah. All men, I suppose, are they?
All men.
No lady members?
No lady members,
Do you ever see a day when you have a lady member?
Oh, we do, sir, yeah. They're all welcome to us, sir.
They come along after us?
They come along with us, yeah. They do, yeah. We've got a song club.
How many dogs would you have altogether now?
We'd have about 40 homes now, sir.
Would you really?
And a very good pack.
Yeah.
And you know, our offers now, they are a good job, like plenty of money.
Yeah.
Plenty of money.
That's always a help.
Yeah.
Do you have an annual do, Paddy?
We do, sir, every year.
Do you? What is it? Dinner dance or?
Dinner dance and cooking, sir.
In cookies and hello. Yes, that's a good night.
Oh, great night.
What happens that night now, apart from the dinner and the dancing? Do you have presentation of prizes?
We do, sir, every. And there's those other please to be invited. Please to be invited.
And does the President of the Republic make a speech?
Well, I'm very bad at that, sir. I'm very bad at that. I would have someone else take it off. I'd say if you want to that's all right. You know?
Well, Paddy, thank you very much. We hope to meet the Harriers again someday when you're in action.
Yes, yeah.
Here on the right of the pier, we see the town park, Kinsale Town Park, looking very green and inviting. It's a very well kept area, this. And the next premises we approach now is Acton's Hotel. At one time, home of the Acton family, operated by the Actons as family hotel until 1961, when it was purchased by Trust Houses Forte, and is now one of the major hotels in the West Cork area. We're driving on the pier, and out to our left we'll see the yacht marina. Fishing grounds are anything between half an hour and an hour's journey from the pier here in Kinsale. During the course of the summer, anglers from all over the world come to Kinsale and use these boats. Some of them return several times each year and spend practically all their time at sea, and of course in the evenings then use the pubs, restaurants and shops of Kinsale. On the left is the pier head, and we see that quite a number of trawlers are now pulled up here evening, which indicates that conditions can't be good out at sea, particularly when you see French boats coming in. These French boats mostly operate from Brittany, and these would be Irish trawlers. Feeder boats background. The White Lady Inn, which has recently been acquired by Mr. George Cronin. The White Lady is one of the places best known for late evening entertainment. Operates a very exclusive and popular discotheque and restaurant. On the right hand side we see the premises of Kinsale Yacht Club. Lovely old building, stone building with Georgian windows. Just past the boat. We're now passing by Peggy Queen's Kinsale Annual office. The next door is one of many Kinsale restaurants. Skippers operated by here and we're now coming into Lower Common Street. We're at the rear of Acton's Hotel to the right. Grey slated walls. We're now approaching Casey's Corner on our right hand side. Entering